Hi everyone, welcome back to the Validating channel. I have a fun video idea for you all today. It's been a long time coming, probably a couple weeks, that's why I haven't posted in a month or so, because I had this idea, I had to come up with a list and then obviously film it, which I like doing. Obviously I wouldn't be here if I didn't like filming it myself. So it's always awkward of like when to do it, when it's quiet and available. So I have a list of 33 things that I'm thankful for, aka 33 thankful thoughts. Just like in the podcast, if you remember the segment where I would ask my friends to have 3 thankful thoughts at the end of each video, I'm going to do 33. So it might be a long video, I don't really know, but Thanksgiving's around the corner and I just want to be thankful for what's in my life, whether it's big things, small things, anywhere in between, just to show you what I'm thankful for. And I challenge you to be thankful as well. And I know what you're thinking, Thanksgiving is still like a month away. Why am I doing it now? It's because I thought of it and I didn't want it to go to waste and be like, oh, I'll do it during Thanksgiving and then not do it during Thanksgiving. So I'm doing it now while I'm in the mood and I just felt like it. So without further ado, here are my 33 thankful thoughts for October 2021 because it may change. We'll see. Number 1 is having an apartment because, as you might know, I'm a very nervous person and there's a lot of moving pieces at first, literally moving pieces from one place to another, but also just like everything, the timing, finding my roommate, everything had to fall into place, and it did. And I'm so thankful just to have my own space. Because number 2 is that it was empty at one point. I walked through it when it was completely empty and now I have stuff in it. So it's nice to know that I have stuff that I need, obviously like a bed and a desk and a kitchen with a fridge, like stuff like that was just, it's so nice to have. Number 3 off of that is being able to sleep at night when it's quiet, because that was another fear of mine, is that there's so many people around, especially college students or families or whatever it is that might be loud or keeping me up at night. But every night I'm so impressed with how quiet and I can actually like rest and not worry about who's around me because I feel safe and quiet in my new apartment. I shifted. I don't know why. I feel like I see YouTubers do this where they do things like this. They like to move to one side to the other. I don't know. I'm going to try it out. Number 4 is that I have a laundry machine and a dryer in my specific apartment, which is so convenient. I can't even tell you how much I am thankful for this because it's so nice that 1, I don't have to pay, but 2, I can literally just walk from my bedroom and then maybe like 20 steps away is the washer and dryer. So it's like the most convenient thing. Number 5 is that I have amazing water pressure, which sounds weird to say, but apparently it's not common, and apartments or houses all have different kinds of water pressure, and that was a worry of mine going into it. It was like, what if it's just like trickling out? Again, it's so small and minor, you don't think about it unless it's annoying, but I don't have to because it's awesome. And number 7, hello, it's me editing this video and I realized I already messed up the numbering. So number 6 is that I have a Brita filter and I get to use the water from my sink that's usually not that good and filter it through this Brita filter thingy, and it tastes better. It's very minor and stupid that I need that, and usually people just use sink water, but since I wanted better water and not pay for plastic water bottles so much, I just use this Brita filter. So that's number 6. And then number 7 will come up right now. I have to mention my roommate, who hopefully isn't watching this. I'd be embarrassed if he was. But he's very considerate and respectful and likes to talk like I do. So like, we get along really well, and we're both so busy that we don't really see each other that often. But when we do, it's like, oh, nice to see you again. And I literally don't have any complaints about him. So thank you if you're watching this. And if he's not, just know that I appreciate him. Number 8 is contacts, so I can see. This is shifting gears a little bit, but I love that I can put in these weird little discs in my eye and then it makes me be able to see. Because I don't know if people can relate to this, but if I didn't have contacts, I would be very blind. So thank you, contacts. And I'm sorry, I keep looking down. My list is right here. So, and I obviously made the list, but I'm not about to memorize 33 thankful thoughts. So yeah, you know. Number 9 is comfy clothes, because as you can see, I'm wearing my Merrimack College new sweatshirt, and it's just so comfy. And just beyond that, like shorts and things that I like to wear on the weekends, because now that I'm working at a school every day, I don't get to wear comfy clothes as often. So when I do, I very much appreciate it. Number 10 is social media, whether it's Instagram or YouTube, or Facebook sometimes. I love that I can see what my friends are up to, or random people that I subscribe to on YouTube that I've never met personally, but I find their videos entertaining. And of course, now that I'm posting my own videos, I like that I have that platform. Same with Instagram. I love posting kind of random little things, whether it's something like an update or it's just 30 songs like I did in September. Speaking of social media, I recently got shouted out on Mind Over Magic, which is a podcast created by Matt Franco and Eric Dittelman. You might not know who those people are, but they're magicians. They were on AGT. Matt actually won the whole contest. Like, he won the prize and everything. He has his own Las Vegas show. And Eric Dittelman is, like, again, a mentalist. He was on the show. He didn't win, but he still has a very successful career because of it. And they started a podcast during the pandemic. So I watched every episode, or I listened back when I used to have to commute from Framingham to Merrimack every single day. That was like an hour each way, so I would listen to an episode on the way there and on the way back. And I'm thankful for their podcast. They create great content. And so this is a long story, I might cut it out, but I made them a website because they were talking about wanting one, and then neither of them had the time, so I was like, I'll just do it. So I made one, and they actually really like it, and they responded to my email that I sent them. So if you want to check that out, if you have any interest at all of Mind Over Magic podcast and them mentioning my name, then you can click the link in the description, and I'll put the time code so you don't have to listen to the whole thing. But I suggest you follow them because they are very entertaining. Number 12 is a car, because I have a very old car. I'll say that. It used to be my dad's, and then it was my older brother's, and then it was his other older brother's, and then now it's mine. And I hate paying for gas. I'll mention that right off the bat. But I love that I still have a car to fill up, if that makes sense, because if I didn't, I'd be like Ubering to work or finding carpool options, like none of the stuff that I want to do. So I'm very thankful that I have my own car. I also realize I always end my sentences, but I don't end them, if that makes sense. I always feel like I have more to say, so I kind of leave it open-ended, but then I just stop abruptly. So I apologize if that bothers anyone else other than me. Okay, moving on. Number 13 is warm weather, because it's escaping us as we're ending October. I can feel the warm weather escaping, but I am very thankful for the sun. As you can see, my window right here, it's like shining down, and I love that, and it makes me feel warm, even not physically, but just the sight of the sun is very, very heartwarming. Number 14 is music. Number 15 is streaming services, whether it's Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, or Disney Plus, or there's so many out there, and there's still more to come. But anytime I get to watch like an old Disney movie, for example, with a membership, obviously, is so awesome, because we used to have to watch DVDs or VCRs, even like things like that are just obsolete because of these streaming services. And rather than finding the CDs and making sure that they're not scratched, we can just literally click and it's right there. So that's really convenient, and I love that. And of course, the last few of these thankful thoughts wouldn't be possible without my phone. That's number 16, is just my phone and my laptop technology that lets us use everything that I just mentioned: social media, streaming services, podcasts, like all that stuff wouldn't be possible without technology. So I'm very thankful for technology. Number 17 is food, and number 18 off of that is candy. Number 19 is a weird one. I'm thankful for my past self. And when I'm talking about my past self, I mean obviously my whole life I'm thankful for. But specifically starting in high school, at the end of high school, I worked at Stop and Shop. And anyone who knows me knows how much it was an interesting experience, but it was a first job, and I had to learn all about saying no when they called me in, or showing up on time, stuff like that. I learned from Stop and Shop, and they paid me, obviously minimum wage probably, but I worked 5 days a week for a while, consistently 5 days a week. And so those checks would come in, and I was I knew at the time I was thankful for it, seeing my bank account rise. But now, even more so that I don't have stable income, I'm like, thank you, past self, for putting in the time on top of courses, because I was a freshman in college at the time, and I was working 5 days a week for 5 hours usually per day, if not more. And everyone has different lives. That might not sound like a lot for some people, but for me, not having a stable income, like I said, now, and having a huge savings for me to live this life now is so like amazing. So every time I think about my little freshman FSU Alex, I'm like, thank you so much, because without you I wouldn't be here, most likely, unless I wanted to take out loans or ask my parents for money, which I don't want to do. So I'm so thankful that I was able to work when I had the time, and now that I'm working this unpaid internship, I have past Alex to thank. So it's just amazing. So thank you, past Alex. And I mentioned FSU because number 20 is my FSU experience and how I increased my confidence slowly but surely to be where I am today. Because I know for a fact, I've said this before, all of the experiences at FSU, whether joining Hilltop Players or doing a job on campus, all of those factors gained my confidence. I don't know how else to say it, is that I felt more comfortable with who I am and got more excited to meet new people. And somehow that's translated now to grad school and to my middle school experience. Number 21 is two things that relate to each other. So it's improv and live theater. It's just so fun getting to know people, for one, but also that we all have weird sense of humors that blend together and we just make each other laugh. So that's always a highlight of my week, to go to rehearsal. Oh, and then I was also going to mention live theater because I recently saw the first show in a while at Merrimack. It was called Too Much Light Makes the Baby Go Blind. Weird title, weird show, but I got to be an usher for it, meet some new people that way. And the show was really funny, and it was just so good to be actually in a theater again and watch people perform. Number 22 relates to the 6th grade experience that I keep talking about. Again, I'm in middle school right now. It's part of my Merrimack experience, so I'm not really getting paid, but I'm still waiving my tuition, so it works in the end. And I'm so thankful for this experience. I have an amazing supervising practitioner, meaning I'm not a full-time teacher because she is, and I'm like her mentee, or what's another word for it? Like her student teacher. Thank you, SP, who's definitely not watching this, but if you are, thank you. Number 23 is kind of sad, but I'm thankful for people saying hi to me. I've always loved this, even in like middle school, my own middle school experience. I remember this, where I would get so happy if I was just walking the hallway minding my own business and someone was like, hi Alex, I'm like, oh, hello. Like, you noticed me? Cool. And I'm always one to say hi first, I feel like, which isn't a problem, and I don't mind doing that, but it's just so, like, lifts my spirits whenever someone says hi to me. And then especially when it comes to me being a teacher and the students saying hi to me. We have 6th graders. I don't know if you have any experience with them or if you remember your own experience, but they are very snooty and kind of don't want to be at school, so it's not always the most positive experience for them. But sometimes there's this kid kids plural, that I don't think are gonna say hi or whatever. They go, hi Mr. Sharon, give me a big wave. Like, I don't know, how do you not feel good about that? So that's awesome, and I'm very thankful for that. Just 6th graders in general that are actually doing work and, I don't know, making me smile every single day at work, so that's awesome. And then on the train of 6th graders, working with them has been so eye-opening because I don't remember, obviously, everything, and I don't know how I got to the point where I am now, but I'm thankful for how I can multiply numbers or spell or kind of just things that come second, like, what's the word? Like, I don't have to think about it. It's second nature that I can just multiply 5 times 10. That's easy. Or even like 7 times 8 is what they struggle with. Like, that's so, I have it ingrained in my brain for some reason, even after all these years. But watching them have to count on their fingers or draw little stick figures, like stuff like that, which I knew I had to do it. I've done before to get to where I am now. But it's hard not to laugh, being like, wait, no, can't you just do it easily? And like I mentioned reading, like they read so slowly. And obviously I get why, because they have to get to the point where I am. But I'm just thankful that I was able to go through that, and now I am at a point where I have it and I'm fluent with it. And I'm not saying I'm super smart, I'm just saying that it's more natural to do than my 6th graders. Alright, 25. This is taking so much longer than I thought, but I'm hoping through editing it's not a 20-minute video, because right now I'm at 18 minutes and that's stressful. But number 24? No, 25. 25 is, oddly enough, it's about my memory. I love that I can somehow work probably like 3 weeks or so at a middle school. It's been more than that now, but it took me about 3 weeks to get used to their schedule, get used to the students, and just like my brain somehow was able to memorize names and faces and call people the right names. Even if I barely saw them, I would be like, oh yeah, that's Alice, for example, just because I remember that. And then same with the schedule. I remembered that the team time period ends at 11:18. Like, it seemed like it took forever, but at the same time, it really didn't. And I can still remember my own 6th grade schedule. I don't know if that's sad or impressive, but I don't know. Memory is a weird thing, and I don't have the best memory usually, but it's still like little things that I remember. I'm like, I'm impressed with myself, but I actually remembered your name. So I'm very thankful for my memory, which is kind of weird, but it's true. Number 26 is being comfortable with new people, because I don't know what it is, but I get nervous around the people I meet for the first time, and I don't know kind of where I stand with them or how I should be with them. Even though I'm comfortable with myself, I never know how to portray that with new people. So finally getting that chance to like actually be who I am and talk to them like normal human beings, I'm very thankful for that. That's happened with a couple people at Merrimack, and I don't know, it makes me very happy because it's not natural for me just to be myself right away. And then 27 relates to that because it's reconnecting with old friends that I met like 3 or 4 years ago, for example, that I might not see as often as I used to, but I can just text them and be like, hey, what's up? And then we chat for like hours, and I'm very thankful for people like that who we might not see each other every so often, but as long as we chat once a month or something, I'm very happy about that. Number 28, it's a weird one, but it's when the very strange concept of creativity and the oddly strange concept of motivation collide. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands, but I consider myself a creative person, and I consider myself a very motivated person. But it's not often where those intersect, unfortunately, where I can be super motivated and get all my work done, but I didn't feel very like good about it, if that makes sense. I just did it because it was assigned. And then there's other times where I'm like, oh, I have this great idea that I really want to do, but I'll do it later because I'm not motivated. But I'm thankful for those times, and it's getting more often, luckily, but there's some times where they just feel like parallel lines are never going to intersect. And then sometimes they do. And then I'm able to use my motivation and use my creativity and be happy with my work. This is gonna be the longest video ever. Number 29 is being thankful for my keyboard, which I'm staring at right now. You can't see it, but I literally want a free keyboard, and I've talked about this before, and I'm sorry if it's sounding repetitive, but I literally was able to enter a contest online and literally just film myself, which didn't cost any money, and after 7 weeks, I was able to win a free keyboard, and they sent it out for free, and now it's in my new apartment, and I practice not that often, but it's still nice to have, and I'm just very thankful for that, because I'm sorry HD Piano if you're watching this, but they don't do the contest anymore. Even though they said they were going to do it every week in 2021, they stopped very soon after I won. So that's like even more so like I won a keyboard. Like that's so cool. Number 30 is when I figure out a problem, either personally where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, for example, or like, I don't know how to solve this problem, and then I work on it and then I solve it. But also even more so when a student is having an issue with like a math problem or a math concept in general, and it could be any subject, and I give them like a little trick to remember, or we just talk about it and like they finally like understand a little bit. I'm like, okay, but do you understand kind of thing? But then in class, they're like, oh, I get this now, and maybe they don't mention my name, but they mention the strategy or the tip that I taught them. That happened in 2nd grade a lot, where like, I'm not gonna tell the story, but it just, I hope you know what I'm talking about, where I'm like actually making a difference in their learning. It's like so cool. Number 31 is my brain letting me sleep at night, because as you can tell, I think a lot, and I tend to just like play moments in my brain over and over again, whether it's embarrassing or good. I just think constantly, and it's hard for my brain to shut off at night, but eventually it does. Number 32 is FaceTime, and just in more specific, FaceTiming with family. And number 33, if you made it this far, I'm thankful for you, but that's not 33. Number 33 is reflecting, and that I am a very reflective person, and that's weird for me to say, but it's true. I like to think back on everything, including good, thankful things, but also things that need work, like my students misbehaving. How can I improve that behavior? And with that, I finish my list. I appreciate you watching. Like I just said, I don't think anyone's going to watch this video, but I wanted to make it just for my own benefit. So if you are still watching, please let me know if I should do something like this again. Maybe I should just do like 10 or so it's not so long. But I would love to hear what you thought about this video and what you're thankful for in the comments. Stay validating, whatever that means to you. Thank you. Bye.